Mr. Toney has been known in our Quad City area for several years, and he's one of the early pioneers in the civil rights movement. You remember the good old days when actually they were a bit of a struggle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. The attitude of the country and of this community and the people certainly wasn't liberal.
Right. And but as a pioneer, I recall you integrated the YMCA swimming pool.
Yes, I did.
Yes. How did that happen?
Well, not only the YMCA,
Uh-huh.
but they had a swimming pool downtown
Uh-huh.
called an auditorium.
All right.
And a black person had never swam in there. Our son come home and what's the matter? He said, I had a young Mexican that was in front of me. They wouldn't let him go in. And he said, they let me go in. And I said, well, we'll try that out. So I took about 5 black people, men,
Uh-huh.
and took them down there. And they let them all go through except me. They stopped me. I had a little scratch on my knee.
Oh.
And they used that to bar me from the pool. So that was one of the incidents that I remember very well.
Do you remember the year?
Oh, about 10.
About 10. And
And he's 70 now.
wow, about 60 years ago, right? Almost. And so during that, so that was one incident, but there were some other incidents that also occurred during that time, wasn't it? When in fact, you started a magazine called Sepia. What was the reason for that magazine?
Well, the reason was that the black community never got any press locally. And the only time they made the news was when they committed a crime. And Ann and I talked about it, and I said, well, I was going to make a magazine that depicted some of the good things that the black people did in the community, and we did. I couldn't have done it without Ann. She sold enough magazine space for me to put it together. And Ben Butterworth guaranteed the payment of the magazine to the Saulniers.
Oh, the printers,
So
you had a pretty wide circulation in the community.
just locally. And
locally.
That was the bad thing. The bad thing was that this was long before Ebony came out.
Right.
They proved that it could be done because they had a market in Chicago.
Right.
And I had a market in the Quad Cities.
So we didn't have enough numbers
Right.
of subscriptions. Yeah. But anyway, that was an idea that probably Mr. Johnson from Ebony picked up and decided to go.
Probably was.
Yeah. At that time, were you still working? You were still working at
I worked the whole time.
Okay. You were working at Deere, right?
I was a welder
Welder. About what year did you start there?
at Deere
Yeah. How long ago?
at 47.
1947. And you worked there all up until 1990 something?
From 47 to 83.
To 83, right. And so you started as a welder, but you then
No,
you
I I started at the hottest, dirtiest job
Oh.
in the company at the old Malibu Iron Works.
Oh.
And I finished as a director.
Right.
I moved up begrudgingly. I had a habit of kicking the doors down. I can recall one incident that the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission posted rules and regulations. My welding boss saw me reading it.
Oh.
And I made it quite obvious that I was going to do something. And before I had a chance to kick that door down, they called me into the office and asked me if I wanted a different job. And I said, what? Well, we'll make you a supervisor, a foreman. I said, no way. So then they thought that out, and then I got in and asked that I want to start a department, Minority Relations Department.
Uh-huh.
I said, yeah, if I get some support. And they said, absolutely. So that's what I did.
Oh, you worked with A. Philip Randolph in between.
Yeah, I did.
Uh-huh.
See, I forgot that. If it wasn't for her.
Gee, that's...
Rabbi Abram Vossen Goodman
Uh-huh.
was my promoter.
Uh-huh.
And I got called into Washington and asked if I'd like to work in the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity. It had no authority, very limited budget, but I took the job and traveled all over the Midwest for A. Philip Randolph. Was with him when the first March on Washington took place. I think that was in 47 or 57.
And then you came back to Deere and started working in the office. No? Or you went back to the foundry?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he wasn't there long.
Uh-huh. And so during that time, like those were sort of turbulent times. I know you were a member of Catholic Interracial Council.
Right.
Right. And what was the goal of the Interracial Council?
To remove all the discriminatory laws and acts that were taking place in the community. One of the things that A. Philip Randolph did, he organized the original March on Washington.
Uh-huh.
And he had a voice in Washington to Eleanor Roosevelt. She would lend the ear and she passed her thoughts on to the president. He would dilly-dally around. Randolph threatened several times to march on Washington. When it didn't happen, he did. And well, it was the most vital thing that I've ever been in. We went to Washington and there was all kinds of organizations that were participating. And well, there were people of all colors there. There's a rainbow of colors that was marching.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I remember several incidents when we were marching down the street. Some guy had shinnied up a lamppost,
Uh-huh.
and he hollered down and he said, "Smile," said, "don't be so sober." He said, "We're marching for freedom."
Mm.
I remember getting bumped by people that couldn't help it in that parade, and whoever it was would turn around and beg pardon, and
Mm-hmm.
I would accept it likewise. And so it was a thrilling experience, and I rode out there with Father Mott, and we took time driving 200 miles and then change and drive.
Wow.
So that was an experience I'll never forget.
So when you came back, you got together and started this interracial council with the same sort of.
We had to. It was in the embryo stage, but
Okay.
we had it going before I went to worship.
Okay. Okay. And do you recall some of the other people, you and Father Martin, and who are some of the other people who were with you?
Father O'Connor, Bill O'Connor,
Uh-huh.
his brother, Father Ed.
So while you were in your new position at Deere, you were able to make some inroads in the hiring process, right?
Right.
And so many young men, black men, were able to get jobs as a result of some of the work you did there, right?
Right.
So you went 2 times to court with S.J. Brown, the
S.J.
attorney from Des Moines,
Right.
and you got this, you won the case. And what was the case? That she refused to serve you? And then,
Well, we found that we found an old law enacted in 1897,
uh-huh,
an anti-discrimination law.
in the state of Iowa.
And when I went in there, when I went into that restaurant, Ann and I walked all the way from downtown to the ghetto that we lived in.
Uh-huh.
And I said to her, "Do you want an ice cream cone or a soda?" And she said, "Yeah, that sounds good." So we went in and we sit down at a back booth. And this woman, she kept passing me by. So I called her, I said, "Ann," I said, "you come on, we're going to move right up in front." We moved there, and she never come near. So I said to her, I said, "Are you going to serve me?" She said, "No, I'm not." So I said, you know you're violating the law in Iowa? She said, no, I didn't know it, and I do, now that I do, I don't care. So I said, okay, we'll see about that. So I went out. The next thing first time I had a chance, I went down to the county attorney. And I told him what I wanted to do, and he said, now, don't get too rambunctious. He said, you got a magazine. You're going to hurt that magazine. I said, I really don't care. I want justice done. So I said, do you want me to get a black attorney to help you? He said, that's not a bad idea. So, got S. Joe Brown, and one of the most dramatic moments of the trial I remember vividly. Her name was Baxter.
Baxter.
Right? He had her on a witness stand.
We had a black judge. I mean, not a black judge, a blind judge.
Blind
He was
judge.
blind. He couldn't tell. You know, the judge was blind that was doing the case.
And so the dramatic moment came when this attorney said to her, do you refuse to serve him because he was colored? That was a terminology that they would use at that time. She said, no. She said, I was out of sort, and she said, I'm pregnant. And he said, well, did Mr. Toney have anything to do with that? And she about blew her stat. She said, no. She said, I just didn't serve him because he's colored.
Wow. She admitted it.
Yeah. I'd gone to college with her lawyer.
Oh.
At St. Ambrose.
So he was surprised at her behavior, huh? And so then what happened as a result of that? She was forced to, what was she forced to do? She was
to serve anybody
that came, and the judge said that that's what she would have to do. So that was around 44, 45, and it made a difference. Then so other eating places in Davenport took notice of it and started serving people?
Oh yeah, tell you one thing, Ann and I at that time were attending Mass at St. Anthony's, which is downtown. A Sunday or two after this had hit the papers, I said to her, let's go over to Bishop's and have dinner. So she said, yeah. And we went over there, and for a black man and woman to walk into an eating establishment was well, it was an event. People looked at us. And, you know, I get mad now. I walk in the place, nobody pays any attention to me. But then it was an event, and the manager come up to me. We were standing in line. He said, are you Mr. Toney? And I said, yes, I am. he said, would you like to get some capital to open up a restaurant? I said, no, I wouldn't. So I said, are you going to serve me? He said, oh yeah, we're going to serve you. I said, well, you serve me and you won't have no problem. I said, you're going to have plenty of it if you don't serve me. So he got out of the way and we went through the line. And of course, everybody in at that time, the restaurant was next to the bank, the Davenport Bank building. And across the street from St. Anthony's. So
The visits to Mississippi at Diamond Head, you never ran into any problems at all?
never run into any problems. In fact, I had a little something happen to my car. And I was going into Western Auto. And a white dude saw me and he run in front of me and he opened the door. Said, here you are, sir. And I looked at him and I thanked him and I went in and bought what I wanted. I got back to the car and told Ann, I said, hey, you'll never believe what happened. And I told her about this white dude opening the door for me.
You joined the country club at Diamond Head. And,
yeah.
And made some friends. And
I never had any problems. You know.
Sorry.
That's all right.
They commercially it was more advantageous for them to have a foursome. They wouldn't think of a single guy teeing off on their golf course. And I'd go there and they put me in with 3 other guys and away I'd go.
So things have changed in Mississippi a lot.
Yeah, they have.
Well, if you had a black bishop that was the bishop of the diocese, that included where we stayed.
A black bishop at the diocese. Have you seen the atmosphere change over here?
Yeah, I've noticed the change. How you go in a place now, nobody pays any attention to you. Like I told you, it makes me feel a little bad.
Or you can buy a house wherever you want to.
Yeah. Did you have difficulty when you bought the house over here?
We had it.
This was the Crow Valley
Country Club. At that time, I worked for a real tough guy. Johnny Lujak was the president of the club. My boss invited me down to his office and he turned the squawk box on. He said, Mr. Lujak, he said, I gotta tell you, you denied membership to one of my associates. Lujak denied it. His name was Walter Straley. So he said, I'm gonna give you 1 day to change your mind. He said, if you don't, he said, here's what I'm gonna do for you. He said, I'm gonna have all of the members from Deere Company to get out of your country club. Well, they just started up. And he said, if you don't take Chuck Toney, he said, every one of the John Deere members going to get out of your club. He stretched out hell. I don't know if any of them would ever get out, but his manner scared the hell out of him. He sent Crow Valley, sent Peterson. a vice president into my office, and he said, you were just been accepted unanimously at the Crow Valley by the club. I said, I have? He said, yeah. He said, hell, it didn't have nothing to do with you. He said, we're just trying to keep the damn Jews out of here.
Is that what he said?
I paid up my membership and joined. Their excuse was that I wouldn't have nobody to play with.
Oh.
And hell, more guys wanted to play with me than anybody in the club. I was a celebrity.
So did you take some Jewish friends over?
No.
We don't know whether I don't know whether we did or not, but we had Jewish friends, and I'm sure that we did go for dinner or something like that.
You were born and raised in Davenport, or your family came from another part of the country, or?
I was born in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, okay.
My mother was an accomplished musician, and we moved all over for jobs. I went to 8 different grade schools, 2 different high schools, and 2 different colleges in my career. We were like nomads.
So you ended up in the Quad Cities at some point, or did you just come here for the job?
No, I ended up here.
You went into Clinton, but you went to St. Ambrose College then?
Yeah.
You got a liberal arts degree, or?
No, I didn't get a degree. I didn't get a liberal arts.
Uh-huh.
I skipped all of that stuff and got a honorary doctorate's degree.
Oh, you did? Very good. You stopped going to college and joined Deere? Didn't you go to Ambrose at all? Yeah, you did.
I run out of money.
Okay. And so you had to go to, started working.
Yeah.
And one of the places was Deere, right? But you and Ann, you had a little place on the weekends, right? Right across from Bethel AME Church?
On the weekends, we had a barber and beauty shop there.
Oh, the barber and beauty shop was throughout the week, huh?
Oh, that was all.
That was the business?
He was at work.
She was there longer than I was.
He'd work at Deere and then come home.
And come home.
And then
When I got promoted to a salary job, I had to work.
So the Freedom Riders stopped by your house and you had some of them stay with you. Howard Griffith, who wrote Black Like Me.
And a real interesting man.
So he must have given you some insight on.
Oh yeah, he was how he would change from black to white, and, from white to black, and that eventually caused him health problems.
A long time ago, and the building has been torn down at elementary school in Rock Island. You were speaking to a group of young men getting upset about not getting jobs, the problem of trying to get jobs. And one of the men in the group, I remember, was Jim Hester. And shortly after being there, I think he ended up getting a job at Deere. And I imagine you had something to do with that. Yeah. Why was it difficult for young black men to get into John Deere?
Well, the difficulty was that they had no skills. 7 black colleges.
You were to give some, I mean, you gave advice to a lot of young people at that time, and you must have spoken to a lot of them as to how to get ahead. What was the kind of advice you'd give now? We're seeing a lot of young people who are sort of indecisive as to getting into, corporate work. What kind of advice would you give them? young people these days.
You're competing against all of the white people in the country. And me and other people knocked our brains out getting the doors open, and now that they're open, they don't do anything to take advantage of it. You know, you can't do the buck and wing dance and work your way to the corporate executive, because they don't know what they're not interested in hiring no clowns.
Right. So education is the key to moving ahead in the corporate world right now. Some people, maybe it's better to be more independent and start your own business and this computers and things like that.
That's right.
People have to get some money together to affirmative action. What's your opinion on that?
I'm sure that a black man didn't come up with that. I'm sure that the whites want to end affirmative action because they don't want to be held accountable for the lack of minorities working. And that's a dumb idea.
Do you have some thoughts that I haven't sort of covered that you'd like to let people know about how to move ahead? Do you see, Jesse Jackson says keep hope alive. We have people saying we still haven't achieved our goals. What kind of advice would you give to people?
My advice would be timely enough. And I don't want anybody to think I'm the Pontiff of Rome, because I'm not. But you can't get a place like this gambling.
Right.
My mother was the brightest person that I ever met. I remember the first time I had $100 check that I'd made at Deere, and showed her that check, and she didn't think it was so hot at all. She said, "It's not what you make, it's what you save." She said, "If you don't save 10% of that check," he said, "you ain't doing nothing." And I made 10% my goal, and then I exceeded that. And then I began to get a few things like automobiles and get them paid for. I had a strict rule with don't buy nothing that you can't pay for. I never run in Clinton, Iowa, the people in the economic strata that I lived in made the grocery store rich. You have to save so that you could have money to meet emergencies. My mother and father never were on welfare.
A lot of young people say, it may have been easy for you when you were growing up to be able to save money, but now it's impossible to save money because there's so many things that you got to do.
That's a lot of crap.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toney.